So let's start. So this video is going to be about the simple past, just like we have been seeing throughout the week. But this one is going to talk about like a timeline. So let's start. So the simple past. The simple past is used for things that happened and finished in the past. For example, this man says, I drove to the beach on April 24th. So here's the present, and then in this time in the past, it happened and it finished. So as we have seen before, be goes with, so the verb to be is different than other verbs, and it has two forms, was and were. So I, he, she, it go with was, and you, we, they go with were. For example, she was happy today and we were sleepy. Now other verbs, there's regular and then irregular. So when they're regular, we just add ed. For example, I crashed my car last summer. And irregular ones change. So I broke my arm. The verb is break, but in past is broke. So it changes, it's irregular. And this, all of this is for affirmative. But what about negative and question? So the verb be in negative, the example is, that movie wasn't my favorite. So that movie is the subject, it's it. That movie, it wasn't my favorite. Wasn't because it's it. Was not, negative. But we can also have weren't, depending on the subject. If it were they or we, it would be weren't, and my favorite. So it's, the structure is subject, wasn't or weren't, depending on the subject, and then complement. And for questions, here we would start with were you sad? And we start with was or were, then the subject and the complement, and finally the question mark. And here we can also add like a WH question, like why, and change it from yes, no, like were you sad? Yes, I was. Or no, I wasn't. To why were you sad? Oh, I was sad because I watched a sad movie. And for other verbs, we have I didn't speak with him. So the negative for other verbs that are not be, we use didn't. I didn't speak with him, or did not. And subject, didn't, verb in simple form because the did is already in past, so we don't need it again. Verb in simple form and complement. And for the question, we can start with did, then the subject, then the verb in simple form, since did is already in past, and then complement, question mark. So just like in this one, we can add a WH question to change it, to get more information. For example, did you go to a doctor? The answer will be yes or no. But if we say, when did you go to a doctor? That changes the question, change in the answer. So, yep, we can add WH to both of them, depending on what we want to ask and what answers we want. So, a timeline. Here, I found this timeline. So a timeline is, like it says, like sort of line that organizes events from like the furthest in the past to like now. So this is a timeline from the 1980s. We can see that the Rubik's Cube was invented in 1980. The royal wedding happened in 1981. Titanic wreckage was discovered in 1985. The Olympics were happened in Los Angeles in 1984. Wall Street crashed in 1987. So those are like events chronologically ordered. Here I found some interesting information and I made a timeline about it, about historical events. So the first one says in the year, it says 3100 BC. So in 3100 BC, King Menes, I guess, founded Memphis as the capital of Egypt. So founded in that year. That's what happened first of the events that I ordered here on my timeline. Then in 1521, in the year 1521, Cortés conquered Tenochtitlan. So that happened in 1521. Cortés conquered Tenochtitlan. Then in 1821, Mexico achieved independence from Spain. In 1821, Mexico achieved independence from Spain. And then in the years 1939 to 1945, people fought in World War II. So people fought. As we can see, these verbs are in the simple past. So this is sort of what you're gonna do. You're going to choose 10 historical events or just 10 events. You're going to order them and you're going to say what happened using the simple past, just like here. I just chose 2, 3, 4. I just chose 4, but you're going to choose 10 and you're going to write them like this in the simple past in a timeline, like in a line, and then when the events took place. So that is everything for this video. Bye.